What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Coming at you with yet another boat video. And we're finally making some good progress on this thing. The only thing holding me up right now is getting the last shipment of my vinyl. And it's raining today, so I can't work outside. But take a look. I'll show you guys what I've gotten done. And then today I've had a lot of questions over wiring. So we're going to go through and make sense of boat wiring. So stay tuned. You won't be pissed. But I did the other day, I didn't film it, but I got this top all mounted up. It's all riveted in, the hinge, the new latch. So everything worked out really good. And I wanted to do this one and trial it first before I showed you guys. So I'll show you exactly how I did it, what I did on the live well, those two lids there. So but it turned out amazing. I'm very happy with it. So, and then today, this morning, I've pretty much just been concentrating on the console, mocking it up, mocking up what I'm going to have for my front tackle storage area, and then the height. I was mounting my fish finder and everything. So let me show you guys the console. All right, so I'm extremely happy how this turned out, and I wouldn't change anything that I did. It just turned out amazing. So let's take a look. I'll show you guys what I did. So you guys know the original console, it was kind of a gray blue color and it had a purple tint windshield. So I painted the console, you guys saw. I tinted the windshield black, and now I've got my Helix 7 side imaging mounted and my Helix 5 mounted up. And then I also cut this aluminum diamond plate piece to take the place of the factory plastic. Got the stainless steel cup holder, a 7-bank switch panel with 2 USB ports, so you can charge everything up, charge your phone, anything else that you got, camera batteries, whatnot. Get in there. And then also installed a new radio. So my old radio was just like a standard size, so like 8-inch rectangle. And I really didn't want to cut that big of a hole and have that much area taken up just by the radio. So I went with this Boss, and it's probably a 5-inch square or so. Comes with the nice cover and everything. It's designed for marine use, so it's all waterproof. Yeah, so it looks awesome. And then I still have my speaker mounted over on the side. So, but the next thing I've got to do is flip it over and get started on the wiring so we can wrap all that up, get everything tucked in there nice and neat. And then I also picked up some switches. So I had 5 on my old setup, and this new one has a 7. So I can actually add a couple of more things, which I might add my docking lights to a separate switch, which I know a couple of you guys have mentioned in the comments. And thank you guys all for commenting on these videos. There's been a ton of positive support. Helps keep me going, so been enjoying all of that. But yeah, so the wiring of the boat. You can see here, this is where the main wire harness, this is a factory harness that comes out from the rear back in the battery area. And there's 2 quick connectors, and everything that this runs, it runs a main power cable back to the batteries to feed your fuse panel, and then it also runs your bilge pump, which is back here, and your live well aerator, which is also back there. So it's all run up that main harness panel, up to the front here, to the console. And then you can see I've also got 3 extra wires. So I ran 2 spares that currently aren't connected to anything. And then this one which is the power source for my Helix 7 on the front deck. So all three of these run up to the front, as you can see here, as well as my main 8-gauge trolling motor power cable. And that runs all the way up there, and then the other two I just still have sitting here. I don't have connected to anything, but I'm considering putting the dock lights on a separate switch, and then eventually I would also like to get replace these battery deck lights and get some LED, you know, just little pod, like 6 or 8 inch little strip lights for deck lights. So I'll have the power available for that if I need to. And then also your tilt trim comes out of this main harness, the tilt trim that's here. And then the harness, this is a branch off of it. It continues to run up front, which is here, which has your front navigation light and your tilt trim for the front. So the wiring of it all is all pretty simple. You want to run your bilge pump and your live well aerator from the back up to your console, as well as a live and a negative from your batteries up to the console. And that's pretty much all you need from the rear. And then from your fuse panel, you can run everything else up front and back in the back. So if you have questions, specific questions, let me know. I know a couple of people asked about wire color, but I'm not sure if I really trust the wire color in this boat, because if I look at my bilge pump and my aerator, both use one brown and one black wire. Well, when they come up to the switches, my my bilge pump has an orange wire, and then the aerator, which is right here, runs a green, red, brown, and black wire. And it has this is the intermittent timer set up on this leg of the system. So there's two positions of the switch. You can fill it manually, and then you can set it in auto, and it'll just aerate. I think it'll run like 1 or 2 minutes on, and then 5 or 10 minutes off. So it'll just continually keep your fish fresh, which works out good. So yeah, we're gonna get that harness, flip this console over, get everything buttoned up in there. So let's get started. Okay, here's the console flipped over. You guys saw a few videos ago, got all the gauges set up, and they are all on just a quick connector that runs back to the console harness. You can see this is how all the switch assembly was sent to me. So basically all you have is just a positive lead for each switch going out to whatever you're running. And some of this is probably going to change, but that's fine. At least it's a starting point. They got kind of you can see what all the posts do. And then this is the new radio. So we will have to do some deciphering on that, but they did a pretty decent job labeling everything, so shouldn't be too hard. And then these two wires here, this is power, which I'll have to go back to my fuse panel for my Helix 7, and then this is the transducer that runs back to the back of the boat. So once we actually get the console installed, we'll have to coil this up underneath, tuck it up in there. But otherwise, this is the only thing that's currently attached to the boat. And the reason I did that is the way I mounted it underneath the windshield, I wouldn't be able to get to it afterwards. So went ahead and did that one first. But let's go grab the base of the console, because there is some of the stuff that mounts to the base. So get that installed first. So let's get her done. So I brought the base over. I got it all lined up. I'm going to go ahead and fasten it all down. There's just 8 screws that hold it into this block of wood that they have fiberglassed into the console itself. So let's go ahead and zip those in. Well, I had you guys on a time lapse and my camera battery died and I didn't notice it, but I got all the wiring that I can get done outside the boat here done. So got my radio all dialed up, everything's wired, power's wired, the speaker's wired. Everything's kind of right here, all bundled up right behind the switch panel. These are my two main connectors that will go to the harness that's coming out of the side panel in the boat. It's coming from the rear. And then, of course, my fuse panel that will mount to the wall, the side of the boat. So it'll be just like that. But yeah, everything buttoned up pretty nice. You guys can see. And then these other wires that are still out are for the fish finders. So those will be buttoned up once I get the console back in. But let's put it back in and see what it looks like. Should look pretty sweet in there. And I did solder all the butt connections and use ring terminals on everything to the fuse panel, so it should turn out really good. But man, does it look sweet. It's like a brand new boat. It is gonna be awesome. I'm pumped. But now I'm gonna try and get that steering shaft that's laying down underneath of it. Get that all put back in so I can mount the steering wheel back up. Shouldn't be too bad, but let's go ahead and do that. All right. There we go. And these other pieces here are kind of faded, so I think I'm gonna hit them with a coat of black paint before I reassemble it. But I'll just set it together quick, show you what it's gonna look like. If I can get this screw out. Come on. That piece. Steering wheel. So there you go. like I said, I think I'm gonna paint the steering wheel and then those other two cover pieces with a nice coat of satin black, just so everything, you know, it's all sun faded, just so everything looks good. But man, I'm stoked. This turned out awesome. And I took the cup holder out just because it was in the way for messing with those switches, but once I'm all done, I'll throw it back in. And I'm not going to bolt down the console to the floor into the side panel until I get my tackle storage created, because it's going to sit about an inch and a half further back than it did from the factory, just because some of my tackle boxes are a little bit bigger and I want to have a wall for the box on both sides. So that adds like an inch right there with 1/2 inch plywood. So, but yeah, she's coming together. I can feel the sun shining on me right now with the cold bush light. But I think that's going to do it for this video. I told you guys I was going to show you how I did the back latches, hatches. But I think we're already over time for this with all that wiring that we did. So if you have any questions at all, just drop a comment below. I'll either leave an answer, comment back, or I'll show it in the next video. So, but thanks guys for stopping by. The next video definitely will be the hatches. So I might even get that done tonight. So I'll probably start another video and then that'll lead into tomorrow. So, but thanks for watching guys. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and we'll catch you guys on the next one.